laryngitis just a little bit. I'm going to be hard to hear, so I'm very sorry about that. And like she said, I'm from Porter, and my project was improving student skills through using technology. One of the first things we learn as education majors is that as we teach, we learn. For example, when I started teaching social studies in 2002, I had no idea. I knew what I knew from college and high school. It was just the basics. So when I started teaching social studies, I knew that I was going to have to read on my own. And every time I taught a lesson on westward expansion, I got better at it. And I knew it. And I didn't have to look at my notes. And I was just like, I had it down pat. So I thought, when I do this, I know I'm learning. So that if my children started teaching others, they would learn twice as much. So I started doing this years ago, but when I started this project, I thought, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to teach to learn. This is my third year in the TPGS, I left off with you. But I knew that I was going to have to come up with two goals, teacher goal, student growth goal. And so when I thought about this project, I thought, I'm going to engage my learners, and I'm going to do my reading comprehension, and I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I gave my assignment project out, my assignment description out in October, and the description told the children exactly what they were going to have to do. They were going to do 4 videos, 2 reading, 2 math, and they were going to be videoed doing this with my iMac Pro that I got. I set the deadline for all the videos. The children knew when they had to come up with their lessons, and I taught all the lessons before so they would know exactly what they were doing. And I gave the rubric out, and it told them exactly how many points they could get for each thing. The first videos we taught were math, and the math is easier to teach because you kind of go through a certain, if you taught math, you go through the guided practice or the exploration first, and then the guided practice, and then the independent practice. So the kids knew exactly what to do. Their math videos were awesome. I can't show any of those because you'll find out later that I had some issues. But they used manipulatives, they used videos. The comprehension skills, the last 2 videos were comprehension. I would teach the skills first on my lessons, and I would show them, okay, now when you get ready to teach, if you decide to teach on cause and effect, you need to point out this. Well, the kids were listening for a purpose. They knew. As you can see, this is one of my little students, Destiny, and she had her script just like me. I don't usually have my script at school, but, she depended on that script. It was so cute because, when you're first teaching, if you've not done this before, it's hard. This is a picture of Deanna, and she's teaching to her group. And what they did was they looked at the rubric, and they would go, okay, are you doing this? Are you stating your purpose? Are you teaching to the group instead of, just exactly looking at your thing? So this is her teaching to her group in practice before she's actually videoed. One of the things I told them is that when you're teaching like cause and effect, for instance, think of someone in history or in science, and think of a subject in science that uses cause and effect. And one of my students like, oh, Martin Luther King had a big effect on civil rights, so he used that. This is another one, science. He said, I know if we talk about sequence, things that are in steps, he said, I can do the life cycle because that has specific steps. And so I introduced the penguins. And Stephen just used this. He did a lesson on coal mining, but he did this art project for another subject, but he used it in that too. This one, you can see, I had already taught this lesson, and he used my notes exactly. I taught it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had it hanging up, and he said, I'll need your theme notes. I was like, okay. This little boy is teaching a lesson on culture. I told them, if you can bring social studies and science into it, it's twice as good, because we're, once again, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They loved looking up the videos. They loved it. And they would watch. I can't even tell you how many videos this kid watched on his subject. And this one too, point of view. She looked for her favorite videos. She searched for her favorite videos on point of view. This is Logan, and he wanted the hamburger graphic up and nothing else. It was like, no videos, that's my graphic. And I like it. And so they used all kinds of technology. This is one of my little smart ones. She used this graphic organizer and handed it out to the class. Yeah, that's Ruby. You just have to know her. This is one of the kids, he wanted to use the board, and I told them, that is a form of technology. She used one of my old anchor charts to teach author's purpose. Okay, this one was awesome. Brady not only read the book and talked about his informational text, he did a whole demonstration with the baking soda and vinegar for his volcano. It was so cute. This is Zach, and he picked his book because he loves Miss Nelson. And it was just like, can we pick a book and then, find out what it teaches then? And I was like, yeah, I do that all the time. This is Natalie talking about transition words, and then she wanted the kids to use transition words in paragraphs, which I thought was a great activity to show the students. This is Brianna, and she is comparing and contrasting, and she had the kids draw the Venn diagram with her as she did it. Here are my results. The August comprehension scores were 29.25 as a student average. In March, it was 68.6. And I'm not saying that this did the whole thing, because, you do so many other things, but it sure helped, because they really improved. By the end of the year, they were able, if you say author's purpose log, yeah, I can tell you about that. 85% of the students participated. 3 of them didn't because they were in special classes and didn't get a chance to do it with us. But, they could have, but I didn't require them to do it. Even students who just watched the video being made, they would sit there and mouth what they were going to say. I did have some issues. I got my MacBook in October, so I got a little bit of a late start. Then I found out that the MacBook is not the best thing for this subject. We used it on the first, I can't remember if we used it on the first one, and then switched to the iPad. But we had to change to the iPad because it was a reverse image for one thing. It was a mirror image. I didn't know that was going to happen. And then you couldn't send it. You couldn't do anything with the video once you did it. So we switched to the iPad after that. The students also, when you're videoing with the iMac, you can't move, and they're restricted to one area. So they were just, we had to start using the iPad so we could go around and move with them because they didn't want to stay in that one spot. And I was originally going to have them film it themselves, but they can't move if they're going to film it themselves. So, those were some of those. And then by the end, we had so many snow days, I missed, recording I think only 8 of my kids got to the second reading video. The next time, if I ever do this again, is I'm going to use the iPad to film, or I can iPod, iPhone, anything. And I'm going to allow more practicing groups. Instead of them just practicing with their group, I'm going to have them rotate and practice with every group. And then I'm going to be more specific on the rubric because I had 50 phone calls and emails saying, what did you mean by this? And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to be more specific because it was a kind of a general rubric. But all in all, my plan was a success. I just had to